want to discuss all of this with a friend of Bradley Manning's, Lauren McNamara. She communicated for 6 months with Manning online in 2009 under the name Zinnia Jones before McNamara identified herself as a transgender and changed her name. She was a defense witness in Manning's trial. She joins me now. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. Can you talk about your relationship with Manning through these chats in 2009? What sorts of struggles did you guys talk to each other about?
Well, at the time, she never talked to me about any questions of gender or anything of the sort. She identified as a gay man at the time. We mostly talked about her difficulties growing up, her struggles with her family, and her struggles in school, and her difficulties prior to joining the military. And she did speak extensively about her role in the military as an intelligence analyst, and she did speak about some difficulties she had adjusting to the culture and with other soldiers who had harassed her. But overall, she still expressed a belief in the military as a force for good made of diverse people.
And you, at the time, were a gay man, as was Bradley, but you independently came to these similar statuses. Is that right?
Yes, I started transitioning last year. There's evidence that she was considering transitioning as early as 2010, if not earlier.
And when you referred to Bradley Manning, because at the time certainly he was Bradley, when you refer to him as saying that people were harassing him, were they harassing him for being a gay man? For what?
Well, she didn't seem to fit in very well with the military's culture sometimes. People seemed to see her as vulnerable. She was short-statured, and she did seem to have difficulty relating to other people there. As it came out in the trial, her coworkers testified that she often cared about doing her job much more than others seemed to. She often made it a goal to go above and beyond, and she might have been bullied for being effeminate, and still at the time, under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, being openly a gay man, let alone being openly trans, would have meant being separated from the Army.
Do you think any of this had anything to do with what Bradley Manning did with the WikiLeaks, or is that just a completely separate and apart situation?
I think it's absolutely related to her state of mind at the time and the decisions she made. It came out in the sentencing phase of the trial when various people she had talked to in the military, psychologists and counselors, spoke about how she had had many previous, incidents where it became obvious that she was in need of imminent treatment. And yet this was often pushed to the side because the unit was underpowered and they could not afford to lose any analysts. She did not receive the care she needed, particularly because receiving care for gender dysphoria would have meant separation from the Army. And this is unnecessary because although the Army does exclude trans people currently, there's no reason for this to be the case. Our allies such as Israel, Britain, Canada, Australia, all of them allow trans people to serve openly. So this was really a very unnecessary situation, and as the psychologists and counselors testified at the time, this created extreme stress for her, and it could have affected her decision-making abilities.
Lauren, as you know, because Bradley Manning's in custody and the Army says it does not provide hormone therapy or gender reassignment surgery, Manning's lawyer would have to sue to change that. What's your reaction? Do you think the attorney needs to do that?
I think it's very necessary. I think it's very necessary that she receive the treatment she needs while incarcerated. This is a medical necessity. It's been established as such by major medical authorities, American Psychological Association, Psychiatric Association, Medical Association. All major professional medical bodies recognize that the most effective and recommended standard of care for gender dysphoria is transitioning. It's highly effective, and without it, gender dysphoria can be comorbid with depression, anxiety, self-harm, even suicide. And 41% of trans people in the United States have attempted suicide at least once in their lives. This is legitimately a life-threatening condition. And to deny someone treatment for this just because they're in prison is similar to denying them treatment for depression or for diabetes or if they needed an organ transplant. There is really no excuse for this because it is established as medically necessary.
All right, Lauren McNamara, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.